Oh, you forgot the tea. So you just have to have half a ton of tea now, won't you? I just realised it's not tight enough. Yeah, no, it's not tight enough. I've just stood up and it's gone with me. This is going to look really bizarre on film, isn't it now?
You pass the watershed yet?
Yeah, and cold.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So lovely to see all you wonderful, beautiful people that are here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Big thank you too to all of those watching us online live in your living rooms. Thank you for joining us today. The lovely Pauline is our online moderator. and she'll be there to answer any questions and just to welcome people in. So thank you, Pauline, for your time. So welcome to our Christmas Eve. Hands up who feels Christmassy. Hands up. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not just the only one. I'm just like... Christmas will start at 6 o'clock when the Baileys gets opened. There we go. So, great delight. You finished addressing yourself now?
I have, and I can take that off. Get so used to wearing it, I forget to take it off now.
I know. Great delight to welcome lovely Mark Stone. Mark, thank you so much for agreeing to take today's service. It's such a special one. But thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, without further ado, I will hand over to Mark for the opening blessing.
Lovely.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's just for one moment close our eyes, but open our hearts and minds in that aspect that we call prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, as we join together for this special service of love and of light, we ask that we may step aside from our daily lives just for a short while to enter into the love, the healing, and the stillness of this time and of this place, and to allow the love and the power of the spirit world and that divine parent to surround us, to support us and encourage us. And as we sit here, allowing those beautiful healing energies to touch each and every one of us, and to reach out from this place to all our brothers and sisters throughout this world in need at this time. Allow us all to think of mankind as a whole, not as separate individuals, but as one living, breathing spirit, sharing the same love, light, and walking this world together. Allow us at this time of peace to send out our thoughts of peace, of tolerance, of love, and above all kindness into the world. Let us shine this light. Let us be the channels of healing, of love and of light, just as our friends and loved ones in the spirit world come to share their presence and their love with us. Let us blend in this light and this power for this time, knowing that all that is said and done is said and done in the truth, the love, and the light of spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mark. Beautiful. And now, if you care to, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Thank you. Mark, we now look forward to hearing your reading and address for today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And Merry Christmas to you. As we begin our service, I'll certainly be wishing you again later, but let's start as we mean to go on. The piece I'd like to read for you this afternoon is by Lewis Rams, and I've changed some of the poem. In the darkness of night, a candle on a window pane will glow bright. It is a candle that leads me home, so you will never be alone. It is a walkway all lit up with Christmas lights shining oh so bright. It is your heart that is calling me and leading the way so that I would not stray. It is a candle of faith, of hope, of love given to us from above. It is the flame that dances in the darkness of night, like a shooting star in full flight. Just like the lighthouse leading the vessels back home, this is the light of love that is shown. You may not see it on the mountain top, or in the darkness of wilderness, or even on a beach. Yet if you search within your heart, this light you will reach. So in all houses at this time, let the light shine out of God's love divine. For me, ladies and gentlemen, this is, to say that this has been an unusual year would be an understatement in many respects. For many respects, when we come to our Christmas time, it has so much more meaning for us this year, I believe, for different reasons than normal. Because this year we have gone through what many will have found as being dark times, even during the summer when the light is bright. And here we are in the midst of our winter, and in the time when we celebrate light. We celebrate in every tradition light. We've just come through Hanukkah and the lighting of the candles. We've gone through Advent. We've gone through the winter solstice, which is the return of the light as the days start to become longer, the nights become briefer, and we move towards those brighter times. And so for me, this year has made us think about the importance of what we shine out into the world, what we are able to give and reach out into this world with in those times that have been darker for many. When you think how much someone like Lawrence has done to allow the world of the Spirit to still reach out to people when our churches were closed, when our communities weren't able to meet, and here we are now being able to meet, not maybe in as many people as we normally would at this time, but we are still reaching out to so many more who are at home, who are not just home here in the UK, but throughout the world. So we've started to learn this year the importance of reaching out, the importance of being able to send our love, our healing, our prayers for other people. There are those who maybe Christmas isn't their favourite time of year because of the loss of other people not being with them, because of their life or the way things are. Many people last week, as we know, friends and family of people here, I'm sure, all of a sudden found out they were having no Christmas plans at all with only a few hours' notice, and the upset that will have caused for them. And our hearts go out to people that have found the one thing they were hoping for suddenly is removed from their circumstance. But we are in a situation where we have had to apply what we know. As spiritualists, we always talk about the afterlife, but we forget about the power of the Spirit in the everyday. The power of our love, our compassion, our care, our empathy for other people, the ability to reach out and to communicate. This year's taught us how important it is to reach out to each other, whether we can physically pop round to see them, to check that they're all right, whether we're picking up the phone, making a telephone call, or for those that are more technically advanced, Zooming and FaceTiming and Skyping and the like. But we've done it. We've reached out to more and more people to check that they're okay, to check in with them, to reassure them, where we can't always be there in the physical presence as we normally would be, as we would normally find ourselves at this time of year doing those things all the way in the run-up through Christmas, New Year. So we may find it a harder time, but actually what we're learning is how important that communication is. We're learning that our words, our reaching out to someone makes a difference. That what we're giving is so important just in a moment of time. To be able to say, are you all right? I was just thinking of you. I thought I would just text you. And before now, we don't think about what a text would bring someone. But then people respond, it's so lovely to hear from you. It's so lovely. Yes, I'm fine, I'm well. And all of a sudden you know that you've touched someone, that you've made a difference in their day. When you're walking down the street, I know it's hard now, because if everyone's like that, you don't always know what they're doing. You don't know whether, well, you can tell if they're smiling, because eyes tell you if you're smiling. Eyes also tell you if you're standing there going, if you don't get out of my way in a minute, I'm going to put you under the patio. And, you know, and of course there are some people who don't have to wear masks, so we can still see you. Don't think we can't see. But as we go, that response to other people, that change of a smile, eyes, we start looking. What are their eyes saying? What are their eyes telling me? We're having to learn to communicate in new ways. When this first started, and the first service I took online was with Lawrence, and we did a Sunday talk and philosophy, didn't we? Back in April, I think it was, wasn't it? And I spoke then about how what had happened, where we'd all suddenly been separated, was very much like going through the process of grief and bereavement, because all of a sudden we no longer had the physical presence of our loved ones. And so we would have to find a new way to communicate, just as when we lose someone to the spirit world, when they go home, we often are drawn to spiritualism, to mediums, to know that our loved ones are still there, that we can still communicate that they are safe and well. And so just the same, we've gone through that separation more than once this year, sadly. And who knows what next year will bring. But all the way through, the constant is that the other world is also reaching out to us through our darker times, through our difficulties that we may find ourselves in. And yet, how often during this time have we spent the time to sit and blend with that other world for their love, their support, their strength? For some people, not for everyone, because for some people their lives have had to go on and be even more busy than they were before the lockdown. Those who are working in all the essential services and retail that have been keeping us stocked with our food and everything else. But for others, we've had maybe more time on our hands than we've ever had before. And I can't tell you the amount of people that said, I really should be meditating more. I really should get on with reading those books. And the years disappeared and we're still making the same. Those will be our New Year's resolutions, by the way. Meditate more, go out for walking more. The gyms will probably be shut, so you're just going to have to run around the park a bit more, or go up and down the stairs a bit more, whatever it may be. Or walk a bit more quicker back and forth to the fridge. But what is it that we have brought into this year, and what is it we're going to bring into next year? With my students last night, we decided to have a service of light, and I got all of the students to, at their end on their Zoom, light a candle. And I asked them to give a pledge of what they were going to give to the world, what light of theirs they were going to share for the coming year, and what pledge they were going to make to Spirit as well. Because it's at these times when we are being put to the test that our belief, our knowledge and our understanding should come into its own. Not just because we're connecting to the spirit world and bringing messages of comfort for those who have been lost, but also to recognise the need to connect with those who are here. We know that loneliness pervades the world, and not just at this time of year. But we have all felt at some point in this year a sense of aloneness because of what we've gone through. Even if you've got other people in the household, I'm sure you've had moments where you've taken yourself aside and felt very cut adrift from the world. Longing for all the things, longing for our trip to church and our tea and biscuits and a good natter that sets the world to rights. Longing for just popping round to someone else's house just to sit and to talk about everything and nothing. So we've missed those things. But again, we don't have to miss, we can miss the physical, but we can still have those moments with people. We can still pick up the phone, we can still talk to them. We can do the Sissy and Ada. If it's your next door, we can all be doing it over the garden fence. How are you, Chuck? You're right. It's not stopped everything, what's going on. It doesn't have to stop and result in isolation. And at this time of year, when we're reaching out and we send out greetings cards, don't we? Wishing you peace at Christmas. Good tidings. This is one day that we're sending these for, when actually this should be our daily thought. That we are sending out love and light and peace to every individual in every day. Every interaction that we have, we're giving a little of our light, our love, our encouragement to the people we meet. Think of it, every time you meet someone, a little bit of what you've said or what you've done goes with them. What is it you're leaving them with? Are you making their day nicer, brighter, richer, fuller for having met you? Are you giving them hope and upliftment? Are you cracking a joke, even if it's probably one of the ones we might find in a Christmas cracker? Even if it makes them groan, if it puts a smile on their face, you leave them brighter than when you met them. As we move through this year, as we move into next year, we haven't unfortunately been able to wave a magic wand and make it all go away. But what we have done is learn to reach out. What we are still doing is learning to be a part of the world, even though we can't always be in it in the same way as before. As you go through this period of time of Christmas, I always have a thing, and always have done since I was younger, that I always talk to those people and invite them to be with me on Christmas Day and at special times that were always in my life physically. So I would still raise a glass to members of my family. When I would go and do seminars where people that were often going to the seminars had then gone home to Spirit, I would then often be sitting with other students and we'd have a drink, and I'd say, oh, and we'll have a drink for so-and-so, and we'll say cheers to so-and-so. We'll include them. So it was another good reason for another drink. But we include them because we know in our understanding that there is no death. It's a continuation. We lose the physical presence, but yet we have them with us still. We have them around us still. But do we recognize that? We think of people, but do we think of them only with regret or with a sense of loss, a sense of wishing and longing that things had been different? Or do we think of them and bring them into the joy of the moment, to share the things that you love, to share the things that they love and know that they still do? We cannot always take away that process of grief because it's natural to who and what we are. But we can live with the Spirit and celebrate with the Spirit. The Spirit world want you, each and every one of you, every single one of us, to be happy. Whatever it is we're doing in life, wherever we find ourselves, whatever circumstances we're in, all the Spirit wants us to do is find happiness, is find peace in our moment, in our time, in our life, however we find that. Yes, we have times where we must be sad and we feel sad. Yes, there are times when we may be angry. Certainly through this time, there are people who are angry at all different people for all different reasons. But are we, as individuals, going to let those things overshadow our peace? Are we going to let those things take away and diminish our light? Or are we going to let our light, our love, our strength reach out into the world and illumine others, make others brighter? We sat on Monday and did a beautiful healing meditation where we imagined our light reaching out across the world like strands of light until the whole world was covered in what looked almost like illuminated lace of all the people throughout this world who are sending healing. Sending healing to all those they know, but also to those they don't. Because we are all experiencing this. We're all experiencing it differently. And at this time, as we go into Christmas, our thoughts and our feelings about this time are all very different. But what we all realise is this is a time that should be for peace and for love. So let us start that from within. Let us be more loving inwardly. Let us be more peaceful inwardly, regardless of the turmoil that may be going on. Let us find our centre. Let us find our peace. Let us invite the power of the other world to be with us. Let their light illumine us. Let us then go on and illumine others. You know, we talk about being the channel as a medium, the channel as a healer, but even as a person, a spirit walking in a body upon this earth, we are a channel for inspiration, for support and guidance for countless others. It is not by chance that we are on the earth at this time. Maybe we are the ones who have come to this life, to this time, to be able to show love and support for so many people at a time that is so challenging. We may think, what can I do? Especially if we're in a situation where we don't get away from our homes. You can sit and send out love and healing into the world. We can sit and be a source of light and of inspiration. We can be a good friend and be of great purpose to countless people just because we're their friend, that we love them, that we care for them, that we reach out to them. Let us be that light, and let us keep turning to the other world for our strength, for our guidance, for our support. And sometimes people say, well, I found it so hard with things that have been so stressful to sit because I feel as if the other world aren't there. I don't sense them, I don't feel them. And I said, well, because we're stressed. And when we're stressed, our mind is not always in sync. But don't worry about trying to be in sync. Don't worry about trying to get. Sit in that stillness and invite the other world to just be with you, to bring their love, their healing, their strength. And you will find that in that stillness, a light will come. And that light is the entirety of the other world reaching out to you. In every day, in any moment, the other world are only that thought away. We can find that strength, we can find that love and encouragement, and then the greatest gift that we can give is to share that love, that light with others that we meet. Let us make everyone else's day a little brighter, and in return we will glow with that passion and vibration of love. So whatever it is that your Christmas and New Year holds for those of you that are here and those who are with us online, invite the other world to be part of these days that lie ahead of us. And not just because it's Christmas, but because the other world love you. They love you and wish to be a part of your world now more than ever, because it is now we need the strength, the love and the reassurance of those loved ones that we miss. And so through this Christmas time, invite them to be with you, share your table and your home with them, and remember that they may not be there in the body, but we are all here together in spirit. And I'll leave those thoughts with you and say God bless.
Mark, absolutely beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And indeed inspiring, because we now come to that part of the service where we dedicate to healing. We conduct the healing now, not as we used to with the hands on, but we are healers ourselves, because we're spirit. Our healing acts can manifest in many, many ways, practical, social, the voice on the phone as we've heard through the address. It's all working in that healing energy. So if you'd like to now, just gently relax yourselves. If you'd like, just focus on your breathing. And as you do, feel yourself start to slow, feel that peace start to come into your body. And resonating on the words that Mark's just said, invite those loved ones in to bring in that love, that upliftment. And during that process, you will receive healing as you also send healing out. So just for this short time, just still your minds and open your heart and invite the Spirit within. And gently now, bring yourselves back. Send out that love and that gratitude to all those that have drawn close, whether known or unknown. They're here in the act of love. Amen. Mark, over to you, sir.
Lovely. I
Thank
could have
you.
gone off then. I was quite
Oh,
happy.
yeah, I was getting
I was
a
quite
bit
happy
comfy.
there. You had to bring us back, didn't you? But never mind. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, as most of you know, when we're doing a demonstration of mediumship, sometimes we know exactly where we want to go to. Sometimes we're given information, and that information then is for you to go, I know who that is. Please don't ever be sitting on your hands thinking, I'll just leave it a bit longer, I'll just leave it a bit longer, waiting for more. If something makes sense to you, if something that's been given makes sense, please say. If something, when you're getting a message, doesn't make sense to you, don't feel just because it's been given that you have to say yes to it. I'm quite happy to receive a no. I won't let it stay as a no, because we'll be like a dog with a bone until we find out exactly where things are. Does that make sense to you all? Yeah, lovely. And I think they're okay if when they're answering, you can take your mask off when you're answering. Save you just going. That's not really good. So let's just see. I was aware. I'm aware of a gentleman, and I know that with this gentleman, I've got a long history of family connections here, where we go into the army. But I know this man keeps talking and making mention of Fusiliers. Now, I don't really know much military stuff, but I know that there must be a specific connection to the Fusiliers, which I believe is a specific regiment, isn't it, or group of soldiers. But I know with this gentleman that there is more than one member of the family that's then involved here in the army, and I believe that the man that I've got here is Dad. Would that make sense to anyone? Dad, Fusiliers.
Yes.
He may not have been the Fusilier, but
Yes,
you understand. Anyone else?
please.
No, honestly, no. Let me just see. Can I just ask then if this is right, and why shouldn't you get a message as well as anyone else? Everyone will go fix and kick you as you're leaving, but it'll be fine. But did your dad have a problem with his neck prior to his passing? Because I'm aware of discomfort in this man's neck.
Yeah.
Okay. And can I ask as well, please, then, not in the same way as your father did, but have you had issues with your neck recently? Okay.
No.
Because I was just aware of him drawing me to this condition and wanting to bring healing into this as well. So your dad was involved with the Fusiliers, was he?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
15,
there you
19.
go. There you go. Fabulous. How marvellous. But I just know that as he's coming in, as he's bringing this, that I know that I want to bring that support, I want to bring that encouragement. And again, I know this has come before, so I will say it again and we will be able to move on. His thanks and his gratitude for what you've done. Okay. I also, there's... That's really strange. This is a very odd thing to ask. Have you found name labels, clothing name labels? You know where people sew into their clothing, like we did when we were a kid, and we had to have our names sewn into clothing.
I've just cleared out a load of gear, and a lot of it had
Name labels in.
in.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Because I'm just aware of this, and it's that moment when you spot something and it just takes you back and it just reminds you. So again, he's just been around, he's just been watching what's been going on, and there's a
Oh God. Sorry.
do you know, isn't it funny how I feel from him nothing but the joy and the pride for the perseverance and tenacity to keep going, and that would have been in his nature. He wouldn't let him, nothing
No.
would stop him. He was like a tank of a man in himself, because he wouldn't be stopped. And he's almost saying, and you may not want to hear this, how much like him you are in that determination. Okay?
He's in the tank regiment.
Oh, as well, lovely. Well, there you are. Well, if it was in one of those, you wouldn't want to try and stop him, would you? Really? That would be if they're coming at you, run the other way. So yes, so just accept that love and that
Thank you.
affection. But he's just been there in those in the smaller moments of life. It's not always about the big things, but also about the small things that's important. Okay. Also, I hear Olive being called as well. Okay, and I feel that either he knew Olive or he connected with Olive as well, because there's a sense of I've met and I've talked with her. Okay, I've met and I've talked with her. And Sammy, but Sammy must feel like an animal to me. I know you've got a Sheba, but there must be a Sammy.
Yes, it's a long
Going
history
back.
of animals.
That's all right. I feel that's more cat than dog, but there you are. But anyway, let me leave Dad's love with you. Yes, all right, I've got you. Now, there was a lady that was... here we go. Got you. Hello, love. There's a lady that... She came earlier and she's come back again. I'm pleased she has. She's showing me her making curtains. Now, I know that might sound the most mundane of things, but these are no ordinary curtains. These are humongous long drop curtains. You know when you do a huge bay window and then you'd also do a door curtain? But these are all... She's making these things from scratch, doing them with all the lining, and this is really, really meticulously done work. So it wouldn't surprise me if this lady did tailoring or seamstressing as part of her living, but I know there must be this specific memory that would connect me with her making these long drop curtains, and it's part of our shared memory. So whether these curtains were made for someone here or it was in the family home that she made these, but I'm just seeing her making these most beautiful curtains, and I know that everything would have been done by hand as well. Although there may have been some machine use, I feel that literally she was doing everything in this meticulous detail. Would that make sense to someone here? As memories, lady there, love it. Oh, and there as well, and all there as well. Oh, we can all go up for hands, fabulous. But I feel that it's important to say that I've either lived in or connected with the home where those curtains are. I feel as if there's a very personal connection to a set of curtains being made as well. Yes? No. Still listen for me just in case, because as you put your hand up, it felt really right then. But bear with me 1 second. We might have a double link. Is this lady a relative, please? No. Yes. Right. I'm keep listening. But I've got these two pulls. Would you understand, having seen her work on these curtains and work on material, and it be day in day out that she would, and I mean into the late hours, okay? And is this with Mum? Yes, okay, that's lovely. I might come back to you, Maggie, darling, but I feel I've got to say it's Mum, and I know I've seen this. And then would you have helped Mum or been around Mum at times to do things? Not that necessarily you were doing all the sewing with her, but you were helping her.
I was allowed to.
You were allowed to, that's all right. Because I kind of get the feeling that because she's so meticulous, that she wants to make sure that everything's absolutely right, and not that she doesn't trust you, but more that she wants to make sure, because it's often for other people, that it's just right, okay? But there is some lovely memories of spending this time with her, and to have this time to, lose yourself, but have conversations. You know the conversations we said earlier, everything and nothing, and things that probably just disappear in the mind after they've been said. But there is this love of that. And I just felt, it's really strange, I keep seeing her doing this curtain that then goes across a doorway. You know, when if I say in the olden days, I've got one across mine because mine's always brassic, freezing all the time. But I keep feeling as if I've got her coming around you and wanting to sort of either zhuzh up your curtains or cut out the drafts around you at home. Would that make sense?
I need to change my curtains.
Well, there you go. Well, Mum's coming. If only your mum was here, she'd be doing them for you. There we are. Because there's just this feeling of I kept feeling as if I want to put them in your home, you see. I want to come in and do you some lovely, beautiful curtains and all fully lined and all of that. And I know that she would have done that with a great pleasure and a joy, because it was something she could give. Do you know, when we talk about people having gifts, her gift was being able to do something as beautiful as that. And I mean beautiful with it, okay? I know as well here as Mum's coming in, I don't necessarily feel this was with you, but could Mum sometimes be quite difficult with people if when she was not well, was she a bit of a difficult patient when she was unwell?
Because she passed when I was young.
Oh, okay. Because I get this feeling of being a bit obstinate at times with things. Okay. Because I almost feel as if because I don't feel I was off with you. Okay, I don't feel I was off with you, but I feel that I could sometimes be difficult with other people because of what I wanted and what I needed. Okay, and I feel from her. You see, this is why these memories of the curtains are so dear, because it's that time spent. Okay, and all right, sweetheart. And you know how we were talking about earlier about how other people are and we have our mask on, which is quite useful sometimes. She's talking about how you've dealt with other people recently and how you've just had to think, just grin and bear it and smile, don't respond, don't go there, and you've had to put a different kind of mask on. But she's proud that you haven't let someone draw you into being less of a loving person than you are. Okay, so there's a lovely little badge of honour, and I know that Mum, and again, whether this is something that then was kept, but I've got little enamel brooch, not anything spectacular, but beautiful. You know when you used to get like the little, either like a little flower or a little leaf with a not a butterfly, like a ladybird or something like that. A little enamel brooch must have been kept after Mum. You've got that, lovely. Because it's just just the little thing. Everything seems to be the little things, It's the little things that matter most, and that attention to detail. Okay. So when you go out, ask your mum to help you with the picking of the curtains. You'll get the inspiration for. You know, sometimes you go out and you spend hours searching, and you come back empty-handed still because you can't make your mind up. Mum was very good at sizing, eyeing the lot. All right. Yes, all right, sweetheart. There would also be a connection with the name of Charlie, yes, and where's that? Oh, okay. Would you have known people that ran a public house, run a pub? You used to, okay, because I'm seeing, you know, the Yard of Ale thing, the bowl. There must have been one of those in Pride of Place somewhere there, okay? Because it's not something we think of so much now, but I could just see it as well, and knowing that there's those memories. And again, it's interesting. Going back to those times were times when everybody became like family for the season, and I want to remember that community. And I want to say from your mum, and this seems important, because community has been very important to you over the years, not just because of the pub, but in other ways. And she's making me aware that you've sent out certain thoughts that have almost said, well, I don't suppose we'll ever see that again. She said, everything comes back again, because nothing's lost forever. Okay? So she's heard those thoughts. There must also be, I don't know whether this belonged to Mum or whether this is something you have as significant for you, but I'm seeing like a laminated bookmark which has poetry on it. Lovely, okay. Because I just want to say again, the words and the sentiment, either of the bookmark or the book it's currently in, is very meaningful at this time, okay? And okay. Have you relatives that moved to America that would have gone to sort of Florida and places round there? No. Let me take that back then. Fort Lauderdale is Florida, isn't it? Yes. So if you don't know that, I'm taking that straight back because it seems.
I had a very good friend who went to live in Florida.
Ah.
A lot of relatives.
Oh, okay. Must be somebody that was very close then, because it's. Do you know when you say someone's like a sister, like a member of my family, and it almost, not that it broke your heart when she went, but it was like, I've lost my good friend. Okay, that's fine then, because I've just got the feeling of the mention of that. I don't know if they're now with us in spirit, but I just know I needed to make mention of them, that they're there in our thoughts as well. Okay? Anyone else, sweetheart, while we're... Why on earth that, of anything? Is there a particular memory link of why I would keep hearing Champion the Wonder Horse theme song? Does that have significance for you? You used to watch it as a kid? Okay, I don't think it's just as that for a second. Hang on a minute. Right, okay. Would you have also known people who were jockeys? Who used to race? No. Let me take that back then. I'm going to hold on to my jockey and my champion, the Wonder Horse, because I keep thinking about Dirty Mind at the back. It's Christmas. It's all right. It's my Deming partner, Mickey, so she's allowed. And your pub wasn't anything to do with horses or jockeys in the name of it? No, that's fine. That's fine. So I'm taking that back because I'm aware of it. I'm aware of that song, Champion the Wonder Horse. And was Bob Champion a jockey?
Yeah.
He was. You see, and then I wanted to talk about Bob Champion as well as being significant. So if that means nothing to you, let me take that back and hold on to that for a second and leave Mum's love with you and take her out on the shopping expedition. Sales start Boxing Day, so you'll be all right. You might need to get them up quick, though, before we're allowed to get any. That's funny. And just before I leave you, did your mum have a sister? So had you got an auntie? Or have you got that would be an auntie-in-law? That would have been a bit of a curtain twitcher. I hate to say curtain twitcher, but that's the... Do you know what I mean?
I didn't have a sister, but I had a godmother, a neighbour.
Like that, okay. Because as I was saying about, we'll have to put the curtains up, I've got these curtains twitching, and I know there's like an auntie figure, yeah, who would there'd be a single noise up the road, and those curtains would be like that. See, she'd be loving it now. She'd be having a field day, wouldn't she? But I just there's these lovely memories because it was laughed and joked about because literally nobody could come or go in her road without her knowing everything. And I love that because that reminds me of an era gone by, whereas now we know almost nothing about our neighbours. She would never have been. She knew everything. So I've just got the love and the humour that comes in there. So let me leave that with you and say God bless. Right, so let me find out where this thing with... I'm not saying I've got Bob Champion here, but has somebody here worked or had connections where we would have worked within horse racing or connecting to horse racing, and we would have known people who would have known jockeys like Bob Champion, would have had that connection? No? No one? Okay. I'm going to leave that to the back because it may have been something to do with yours that I haven't quite figured out. I'll come back to it if it is, because it's not bringing any forth information, so it must be around there. Were there people that would have come where you used to have your pub that were connected with horse racing at some point? Were you close to or connected near to racing?
Once a year, that was all.
That's okay. There's just something about it. There's memories to do with racing. And I know it's proper people racing. I mean, how do you get not proper people racing? But do you know what I mean? It's where you've got all of the big names would come and do, and, you know, like everybody turns up at, what is it? Is it Cheltenham, is it? Or whatever it is?
I used to have invitations to the Cheltenham Golf Cup.
Hey! Cheltenham, thank God. There you go. So there we are. So that's where. So... whether it was in the days of Bob Champion or not, I'm not worried. Probably. There you go. So maybe you saw Bob Champion and didn't even know it. He might have walked past you and you might have missed him. Because they're only little, bless them. We can just say it's one of the seven dwarfs coming in early, couldn't we? There you are. You're fine. But no. So there we are. That's where it is. So thank you for putting Cheltenham in there. Bless you. So I'll leave Champion the Wonder Horse and Bob Champion with you as well for, again, lovely shared memories. So I'll say God bless and leave that with you. It's made me laugh. I think I'm going to have to take an also tonight. Careful. She knows too much. Right, okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, there's one of two things this could be, so we will have to work with this. I'm hearing the Groucho Marx song, Lydia oh Lydia oh, have you seen Lydia? Lydia the tattooed lady. Now, has somebody here got a connection with the name of Lydia? I don't think it's that. I think it's the tattoo, which worries me slightly because I know. Right. I know there's a connection with tattooing in the room. That's the problem now. That's in my mind. But I'm aware. Yes, all right. Yeah, I've got you. I'm gonna have to. And Mickey, I'm aware of our young friend who passed earlier in the year. This is difficult, ladies and gentlemen, because this is something I know, so I will be honest in what I get, but I'm aware of him. I know the feeling as I reach out here from him of how important it is for my family to know I'm safe, for my family to know I'm okay, and obviously I know that extends to you and Jess as well. But did he tattoo? But he obviously knew all the people that did.
Yes.
Okay. And can you ask about a tattoo that was done for him specifically by a lady that he was really proud of?
Right.
Can you ask about this? Now, whether Jess knows it or whether his friends would know it. But I feel that I've got a tattoo that comes down here.
Yes.
Okay. And I feel that a lady worked on this. And this is someone that he wants to connect back to. Because I never met him, so I didn't see any of this. But I know that it's so important here. Oh, I know, sweetheart. You can't turn it back and you can't stop what's happened. But I know here as well that I don't want people to tie their hands as if they can't reach out in life and can't go on in life. And it feels like that's what's happening. They're becoming bound to the grief, not bound to the memory, and not free. And so there is a sense of wanting so much, especially because it's difficult now at this time, to let this be. This sounds wrong, but I will put it in the way that it comes. That this is the last of the crying that needs to be done for me, because this is the last thing I'm missing this year. Okay? And that's not to say we can't grieve and we can't be upset, but we can't continue the pain. Okay? Easier said than done when you lose someone, and we can all take from that. It's not easy to do that. But he doesn't want the pain, because he's feeling that pain still, because he's there and he's with all the time. Was he an under his breath whistler as well? Would he whistle or be humming and singing all the time, like continually having little riffs of music going through his head?
Yeah,
Okay, because I kind of feel that all the time he had a sensitivity to tune into music and to hear music. And there is music he must have written as well, or he played that was his own. I don't know what you call them when you're a musician and you just kind of riff. I don't know what, his own creations, his own inspiration, his own tune. And I know that as he brings that in, I know that his tunes are still heard in the heads of people around him.
Yes.
Okay. And are there also recordings of him playing music? As in like little videos and things of him playing and because I feel that's all I want to be remembered for, is my music and what I gave to people. So important. Just the man and his music, as it were. That was what just brought me peace. That was what brought me stillness in the busyness of everything else.
Yes.
Okay. And so therefore I want people to remember that. Not the rest. Just that. Okay. Do you know if I don't think this is obviously a direct friend around him, but is the name of Gordon significant to his family? Do you know? Would you be able to ask? Okay, can you ask? Oh, he's being funny now. I would have thought he was too young for that. You know Gordon the Gopher, the puppet?
Yeah.
Did he used to do something with puppets? That's a bizarre thing to say. Can you ask about? You know, I had a mate who used to do this. He would pick up an inanimate object and make it talk. So he'd like pick up a handbag and make the zip move and then make it talk and be prat about. But I kind of feel as if I'm almost putting on like even a sock puppet and things. So I don't know whether this was done with his child or not. But I know there's this thing about playing with puppets and again this silliness that comes alive. Okay, and you know I'll just make something suddenly come to life and put on a funny voice and be this total, almost like a natural entertainer would suddenly come out of nowhere. Okay. And so I just know that as he's bringing this in, and especially for his mum as well, and I've just got this real bear hug, and he must have been a bear hug. When you had a hug, it was a real sense of I don't want to let go, even way before. Okay, bless your heart. All right. And I don't know the significance of this, whether it's literal, but I'm seeing like a piece of lace or material that's wrapped round a wrist, as if it's either like a friendship band that was made, or it's not. But it's material. It's material wrapped round a wrist. Oh, okay. But I know it's like it's not plastic. It's not rubber. It's a piece of material that's then tied onto my wrist, and I know it's significant. And there seems to be one that's black and one that's purple, or it's black and purple together. Okay, because I was just asking him to show me if there was something else, and again, those are the memories. So you take them with you. That's why you'd have like an armful of manky bands, but those would be the. I couldn't think of anything worse. I'd be going like this, going. I was bad enough when I used to wear rings, and I used to take the ring off sometimes and go, bacon, what's wrong with that? I know these are all the loving memories, okay, and these are things, and we carry them with them, okay. And I know there must have been something that either you wrote that's private, that's about Forever in Our Hearts, or Mum must have written, one or the other. Forever in Our Hearts, okay, but I know it's not been publicly put anywhere. It was done privately, okay, yes, all right, I will do. And there's also, did he have a brother here as well? Yes. Okay, because he's watching for his brother. He's watching out for his brother, because his brother's. His brother was a bit all over the place when he was alive, let alone when he's gone. So there's this sense of I'm watching out for my bro. I keep sensing little bro, but I don't know whether that's how he referred to him, maybe because of statures, I don't know. But I've got that feeling of wanting to protect him, to be around him in what's going on. So would you also know about going to a place called the Green? The Green. It seems like it's somewhere where we go. We go to the Green, or people refer to it as the Green. I don't know. So can you ask around if that's has significance? It may have been somewhere where he and his brother went, going back. But I know there's this memory of the Green. The Green. I keep hearing the Green. So let me leave his love and his affection there for you. And again, not easy to say, but let this be the last of what we've missed. Now let's be in life, okay? And I'm just seeing the band's been taken off free, okay, free. Okay, so let me leave his love with you.
Lovely.
And say, as always, ladies and gentlemen, time is always our enemy. We could go on forever. But before I finish and say thank you and God bless, I'd also like to thank Lawrence personally for all that he's done and offered to people over this year, making these services available yet again and online. I think he's done a wonderful, splendid job, and I know also all the people that help in the church. Without you, it's not possible. But thank you for all that you've done in this last year, because it's been tremendous. So I'd like to say, can we have a round of applause for Lawrence? No, you can go another day. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of both myself and those in the other world, I'd like to say thank you. Whatever you do over this period of time, remember to invite the spirit world in and be a part, and good night and God bless.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you for that. We have no notices apart from after today. The church is going to have a little hibernation until the Sunday the 10th. Of course, we do have the live carols out in the front garden shortly after the service being streamed. I did want to write down a few words to say, but every time I wrote it down, it's like the Queen's speech, you know. My pussycats and I. Mark very nicely preempted and actually diffused the energy, because one of the other issues I had about saying anything is because, you know me, I can get a bit emotional at times, so I'm just fixing on a point in the distance here while I'm talking. It's been apt. What a year. Yeah, let's not go there, we all know. Yeah, we've all gone through our own parts, but I'm looking out today. We've got reservists, nursing staff, emergency services, carers, and all you other wonderful people. And we've all ordinary people, and we've all done extraordinary things this year. You know, we never knew we had it in us, but here we are today, testimony to that. And it's been a great honour and privilege to be able to put on these events online, to bring people in, friends old and new, speaking now today to Denmark. I know Joan's in from America, France as well. Is it? You know, it's just incredible. This is going forward. You know what? It's going to be the universal church, everybody in, and community. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to do this. People say you've done wonderful stuff. Well, I'll be honest with you, if I wasn't doing the online stuff, I'd have been dragged off the roof by now by throwing tiles at people, because I would have gone south.
That's Boxing Day.
That's Boxing, yeah.
After the bells.
So, thank you. Mark, if I could ask you, please. Didn't cry. Yeah.
Yay!
If I could ask you, please, for the closing prayer. Thank you so much, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once more, let us open our hearts and minds in prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, we thank you for this time that we have shared together, for the love and companionship of like minds, for sharing that light with each other from within, our love, our support, our kindness. We also thank those who have been here from the other world to join us, to make those communications, to show us that love is eternal, and that although individually we may not always be able to receive a message, that we know that our loved ones are there in this moment also, sharing this space, holding this power and this love for us all. And we ask, as always, that the love and the power that has been here in this place reaches out into this world, to touch the hearts and minds of men and women throughout this world. Allow us to be a little kinder. Allow us to be a little more loving, a little more tolerant. Allow us to share peace in this world in these difficult times. Let us be the ambassadors for Spirit, the best way we can, however we can. And allow us to share our love, our light, and our peace with the world. And so, as always, we ask that you guard and guide us through this period of time until we all return safely again in the new year. Amen.
Amen. Mark, thank you so much for taking our service today. Absolutely wonderful.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, wonderful people who have attended today. As you're aware, we can't sing indoors, but we can sing outdoors. So about 4:15, we're going to have some carols out the front. You've all got a hymn sheet with you that is left on your chair. Could I ask that you just remain within the church just for this time? We did a couple of things we need to get ready out there. Those who are not staying, thank you very much if you'd like to make your way, and God bless you all. Have a beautiful Christmas. The ones that are leaving, I don't mean the ones that are staying have a horrible Christmas, but you know what I mean.
You haven't heard the singing yet, it might be.
Yeah, you know, my singing. You know what? I think singing is so important,
Yes.
because we haven't been singing and people have noticed that. So
Yeah. It
thank you,
changes.
thank you, thank you.
Bless you.
I'll leave you some music.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas. I know we're not meant to shout, but
Not shouting directly at them. So
No.
apparently that's allowed.
oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I can shout in general. I just can't shout specifically.
You can sing, but not at somebody. You're not got to sing away
Oh.
from them.
We will have fun.
Angels from the realms of glory.
Yeah, do you know, I'd love a white coffee.
White coffee.
White coffee, that'd be grand. Where do you want me out the back then? Hang around or I can hang around. I'll come and hang around with you. Come on. I'm not. I know sometimes it's a cat food going, haven't you?
In the fields of hiding, watching o'er your flocks by night. God with man is now residing. Yonder shines the infant light. to free all those who trust in Him from Satan's power and might. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Down to the losing praises of you within this place. True love and brother, show the love embrace. This holy time of Christmas, all other than grace. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy.
But yeah, you know, much better off than someone. I mean, I was so upset with the who's named in tier 4. I mean, mate of mine, he just messaged me this morning. He said, "Oh, happy Christmas. We won't go and catch up now. After Christmas, we will go and catch up." He goes, "Because of course we're now in tier 4 as a continent, on top." And of course, I hadn't considered that. And I was like, "Oh, mate, that's funny." And friends of mine over in Gosford, they've got 2 families, 2 adult families, and their grandparents. They always cook and do a lot. They're the central and they said we went out on the Wednesday, bought all the food, there was enough to do a dozen people, and got them down on the kids. And they just sat there all night crying. Because we just spent all this money, not in London, the fact that now we're not able to do anything. So we started putting all the Christmas food. We've got to be able to get through it. So we've got so much of it.
Sing, ye holy shepherds, sing, what your joyful news today. Wherefore have you left your sheep on the lonely mountain steep? Hail the ever-blessed morn, hail redemption's happy dawn. Sing,
But they're saying they're not going to start to do that. And of course, once staff go off like at the school, once one person in a year bubble goes down with it, the whole year bubble gets taken out. And that's, I suppose, what we've been having issues with there as well. I just think,
what a tender love was thine, thus to come from highest bliss, down to such a world as this. Hail the ever-blessed morn, hail redemption's happy dawn. Dieu qu'est l'abaissement. Il est né le divin enfant, joué au bois, résonner musette. Il est né le divin enfant, chantons tous son avènement. Il est né le divin enfant, joué au bois, résonner musette. Il est né le divin enfant, chantons tous son avènement. The holly and the ivy, when they are both full grown, of all the trees that are in the wood, the holly bears the crown. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly bears a blossom as white as lily flower, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to be our sweet Savior. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly bears a berry as red as any blood, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to do poor sinners good. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly bears a prickle as sharp as any thorn, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ on Christmas Day in the morn. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly bears a bark as bitter as any gall, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ for to redeem us all. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly and the ivy, now both are full well grown, of all the trees that are in the wood, the holly bears the crown. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. I can, I give my heart. As Joseph was a-walking, he heard an angel sing, "This night shall be the birth time of Christ the heavenly King." As Joseph was a-walking, he heard an angel sing, "This night shall be the birth time of Christ the heavenly King." He neither shall be born in house nor in hall, nor in the place of paradise, but in an ox's stall. He neither shall be clothed in purple nor in pall, but in fair white linen as youths and babies all. He neither shall be rocked in silver nor in gold, but in a wooden cradle that rocks upon the mold. He neither shall be christened in white wine or in bread, but in the fair spring water with which we christen He neither shall be born in house nor in hall, nor in the place of paradise, but in an ox's stall. As Joseph was a-walking, he heard the angel sing, "This night shall be the birth time of Christ the heavenly King." silent stars go by, yet in stars.